digging into the high-stakes strategy of a mining giant that's at a major turning point. This is the story of Barrick Gold and its massive plan to unlock billions in value by 2026.
All right, so let's get right into it. You've got two huge things happening at once. A star's CEO, Mark Bristow, is suddenly gone, and at the same time, the company's stock is absolutely on fire, tripling from $15 to $46. So what's the real story connecting these two events?
Well, the answer is all wrapped up in this corporate plan that has Wall Street buzzing. It's called the 2026 Value Unlock Strategy. In this explainer, we're going to break down what that actually means and why it could completely reshape this company's future. So let's set the scene. It's late 2025, and Mark Bristow, the guy who pretty much engineered Barrick's incredible comeback, he announces he's stepping down, just like that. And suddenly the biggest question for investors is no longer just about mining gold, it's about whether the company he rebuilt can keep this train on the tracks without him. And to really get what's at stake, you have to understand just how dramatic this change has been. The Barrick of the past was kind of this bloated giant, really only obsessed with gold. But today, it's a completely different animal. We're talking a lean, mean cash flow monster that's focused on both gold and copper, all guided by a laser-focused strategy. So what is this new playbook exactly? Honestly, it boils down to just one word: discipline. Instead of buying up every mine in sight, the new Barrick is totally obsessed with owning only the best of the best and making a smart pivot toward the metals that are going to power our future. And that brings us to the most critical idea in their entire strategy, the Tier 1 asset. Now, this isn't just some corporate buzzword. It's their name for the absolute elite, the crown jewels of the mining world. And pretty much everything the company does now revolves around this one single idea. And they are super strict about this definition. For a mine to get that Tier 1 label, it has to hit all three of these targets, no exceptions. It's got to have massive production every year, a long life ahead of it, and, this is key, it has to be really cheap to run. It's a simple formula, right? But it's incredibly powerful for creating consistent profit.
But the plan goes even deeper. There are three big pillars holding it all up. One, they're dominating Nevada by teaming up with their biggest rival to run the world's largest gold complex. Two, they're making a huge bet on copper to get in on the whole green energy boom. And three, and this is really cool, they're using AI and satellites to find new deposits 30% faster, which takes a lot of the risk out of exploration.
So where did this amazing playbook come from? Well, to understand that, you have to look at the man who wrote it. The entire foundation for this 2026 plan was laid during Mark Bristow's 6 years as CEO. I mean, this timeline is basically a masterclass in how to turn a company around. Bristow comes in 2019, merges his own company with Barrick, and immediately cleans house. Then, in a move that shocked everybody, he partners up with his biggest rival, Newmont, in Nevada. The next 6 years were just all about relentless execution. And the results? They really do speak for themselves. The key takeaway here is that his team didn't just pay down debt. They took a sledgehammer to it, slashing it by $4 billion. And they did that while also returning almost $7 billion to shareholders. That is just an incredible financial turnaround. So, all of that hard work, all that groundwork, it all leads us right here to the main event, the 2026 Value Unlock. This is the big idea, the investment thesis that has the market so fascinated right now. And it all starts with this one powerful number, 12%. That's Barrick's projected free cash flow yield in 2026. What that means is, for every dollar of the company's value, it's expected to generate 12 cents in pure cash. That is way, way higher than any of its major competitors. Here's the catch, though. The market, it just hasn't given them full credit for this cash flow machine they've built. Not yet. So how do you force the market to see the value? The plan has three keys. You shout from the rooftops about the cash flow. You create a big IPO event to force a rethink. And you keep making the company a safer bet for investors. Now that IPO part is the real game changer. The plan is to take their super valuable Nevada assets and spin them off into a totally new separate company. This would create what's called a pure play North American miner, and investors tend to pay a much higher price for those kinds of companies. It's a strategic move designed to force the market to wake up and see what these assets are really worth on their own. But hold on, this story isn't just about clever financial moves. There's another huge piece to this puzzle. A massive growth story that's developing right in their own backyard. Let me introduce you to the Fourmile project.
It's a monster of a discovery that Barrick owns 100% of, and it's already got over 10 million ounces of high-grade gold. This isn't just another mine we're talking about. This is the kind of thing that can literally make a company. And that is exactly why you're hearing analysts use language like this. Because Barrick owns the whole thing, and it's right next to all their existing operations, Fourmile has the potential to be the single biggest homegrown gold story in North America for the next decade. That's a huge deal.
Okay, so let's tie all this together. What does this all mean for someone watching the stock today? What are the key things you really need to keep an eye on? Well, first off, you have to acknowledge the incredible run this stock has already been on. As the market started to piece this story together, the shares just took off, soaring from around $15 to nearly $46 in just over a year.
So, looking ahead, there are three major things that could move the stock next. First, the upcoming earnings report. Investors will be listening very closely for any updates on that potential IPO. Second, keep an eye on copper prices. With Barrick's big bet on copper, any price spike could send their profits through the roof. And finally, leadership. The market is waiting to see who they'll name as the permanent CEO.
Which really brings us to the final crucial question. Look, Barrick has already done the hard part. It has totally transformed itself from a bloated giant into a lean, cash-generating monster. The foundation is there, but the ultimate success of this value unlock plan now rests on one thing. Can the new leadership convince the world that the sum of its parts is truly greater than the whole? That's the billion-dollar question.